Here comes the Shiftry. I swap out into the Pidgeot here, and the opponent comes in with Snorlax. So Pidgeot actually going to sweep this backline here. You could clearly see here, the game is not working. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we need to upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like David Mulligan, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at the Pokemon which broke the GBL. That is Feather Dance Pidgeot, the new move for Season 8. And this move apparently comes with a hidden feature that many of us did not know about, which crashes the game for your opponents. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I did upload a video yesterday, link to that up here. Basically, there is a glitch in the game where Feather Dance will cause the opponent to freeze and be unable to attack. This doesn't happen every time. However, it does happen to enough people. In fact, just one person having to happen is enough for it to be a problem. So Niantic did in fact temporarily remove Pidgeot from the Go Battle League. We'll see how long it takes for that to be resolved and come back into play. Now, with that said, I did manage to go 14-1 with Pidgeot, and I actually didn't experience this bug until the final set of battles, in which I experienced it twice. It was pretty bad for the opponent, so I actually stopped using Pidgeot after I realized that this was an issue. For this particular video, I am using a double flyer strat with Vigoroth in the lead, Pidgeot and Altaria in the back. For the second set of battles, I decided to use a grass type Pokemon, still a flyer. I was going to go Tropius, but I know a lot of people actually do not have access to that, so I decided to use a substitute in the form of Jumpluff, a bit more accessible to most players. Still double flyer, but provides a bit more coverage for Azumarill. Looking at this team, you can see the first line. It's a little bit weak to Azumarill, although Vigoroth and Pidgeot could kind of hold their own against Azumarill with some shields. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure you smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Consider leaving a comment in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. I know a lot of people did start using Pidgeot once they found out about this bug, trying to exploit it. However, even without the Feather Dance bug, Pidgeot definitely has a lot more play now because of Feather Dance, and it's definitely a viable Pokemon for the Go Battle League. Here we see a Jellicent lead, so I swap out into Pidgeot. Of course, Vigoroth could win that matchup if it's not running Ice Beam, and with the opponent swapping out here, kind of banking on the fact that they do in fact have Bubble Beam. Pidgeot going for the Feather Dance here against the Alolan Ninetales. This is not a good matchup at all, so we're very fortunate to get a shield there. Going to shield up the Weather Ball here, knowing that I can get to a Brave Bird if I do, because I should be able to survive this Weather Ball now because of the Feather Dance debuff. Feather Dance is lowering the opponent's attack by 2 stages, and it is a 100% guarantee, so it is a pretty busted move. However, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but notice here we take switch advantage against a Ninetales, and right here this is the important part, because Jellicent comes in, we're going to find out if it's running Bubble Beam or Ice Beam, and because the opponent throws Bubble Beam there to knock out my Pidgeot, we can safely come in here with the Altaria, knowing that they do not have Ice Beam on this, because usually you're running Shadow Ball Bubble Beam or Ice Beam Shadow Ball. So the opponent staying in here with the Jellicent, we're going to go for the Sky Attack here, and things are looking pretty good in the current moment. So opponent's going to get farmed down here, and they have a Vigoroth in the back, so at this point we want to get the shield here with the Sky Attack, at which point we will be able to close out this game with our own Vigoroth with the shield advantage. So basically Vigoroth has to throw the Body Slam here, or else it will get hit by another Sky Attack. It might have a bit more energy and have an energy lead on our own Vigoroth, but because we have the shield advantage, we basically just need to come in here, shield once, get to the Body Slam. We could still survive one more Body Slam from the opponent if they outpaced us, and we'll be able to take this game. So Pidgeot right there, you saw the power of it, able to take back switch advantage. I actually think it is a very, very strong Pokemon, and the fact that it has that normal type is really good, especially for a lot of those safe switches, things like Lickitung, the Lick users, Sableye. I think Pidgeot is legit, and it's going to have a lot of play this season when it does eventually come back. Here we see Vigoroth into Stunfisk, a beautiful lead, and the opponent swaps onto Pelipper, so I'm going to come in here with the Altaria. And I remember this game because I made a pretty big mistake here. This should be a Hurricane. I actually decide to let this go through, and because I do that, the opponent actually now has an opportunity to take switch, and I actually forgot how much these wing attacks are surprisingly doing to Altaria here. And another important thing to know here, I should get this out of the way now. I'm running Dragon Pulse on my Altaria, not because I think it's better. I do think Moonblast is better. However, this is my best PvP IV Altaria, and I didn't want to Elite TM it, so I'm just running with Dragon Pulse. But I do think Moonblast is the slightly better move, although you're mostly going to be going for Sky Attack the majority of the time. So I decided to come in here with the Vigoroth to soak this damage against the Pelipper here. And we're in a tough spot now because we're going to have our Pidgeot aligned onto their Stunfisk. So what I want to do here is throw the Body Slam, and I need to catch the Frenzy Plant onto the Pidgeot. This is the win condition right here. I feel it's still going to be tough, but we swap out into Pidgeot. We are able to catch the Frenzy Plant here. And at this point, basically, I think there's a win condition here. I want to throw this Feather Dance at the Stunfisk here to lower the attack, make this a bit more playable for the Vigoroth. And notice Rock Slide actually does not KO the Pidgeot, so we are able to get a Feather Dance here, and they can't farm us down with Mud Shot. So that means if they want to build up a lot of energy, I could go for a Brave Bird here, which is going to put this Stunfisk very, very low. Pidgeot surprisingly actually has a pretty decent matchup. I mean, it's not decent, it's pretty bad, but the fact that it can't get farmed down by Stunfisk is really, really nice. I come to the Vigoroth here. I'm hoping I could farm down before they get to another move, and they come in with the Venusaur. This means I'm going to be able to throw the Body Slam, and we should be very close to 2. So this next Body Slam should be able to take out the Stunfisk here. We are able to pull out a victory here against a Stunfisk after giving up switch advantage. Pidgeot locked onto the Stunfisk there, in large part because even though we lost switch, we were able to get both shields from the opponent. And if you're going to lose switch like that, I think that's at least a good thing to do. So here, Vigoroth into Articuno. Again, we're running double flyer, so Articuno is really bad here, and it's another matchup where we're pretty much forced to stay in with the Vigoroth here. So we need to keep this Articuno away from the double flyers in the back at all costs. If that means going down 2 shields, so be it. In fact, going down 2 shields is probably the only way we're going to be able to take out this Articuno here with the Vigoroth. So I'm going for the Body Slam here, trying to time my moves correctly so that we don't let any extra Ice Shards sneak in. Unfortunately, we'll have the one more Icy Wind here, but we could just shield this up. I'm pretty sure Icy Wind would KO from this range, that's why I'm shielding. Maybe it wouldn't, but I'm pretty sure it would, to be honest. I didn't look into it, but here comes the Shiftry. I swap out into the Pidgeot here, and the opponent comes in with Snorlax. So Pidgeot actually going to sweep this backline here, so very nice. And this is actually a pretty interesting situation because if you look at the lead matchup, basically the opponent backline was very weak to my Vigoroth, and our backline was very weak to their Articuno. The main difference this matchup is that my Pidgeot in the back actually has a very good matchup against the remaining 2 Pokemon they have. So we're able to farm down here with the Pidgeot pretty much at 2 Feather Dances here. Gonna get 1 shield here most likely from the Shiftry, and we should be able to get to the next move here. Look at how much these Gusts are doing, absolutely insane. Actually overtapped there, but the opponent goes for Leaf Blade. Pidgeot, super thick surviving that. And basically this Pidgeot with maybe, what, 33% of its health remaining, able to take out a full health Shiftry with a shield advantage. So Pidgeot is really nice. I am really enjoying it. And I actually can't wait till it comes back, because I think it's going to be a probably mainstay on my team. I don't know, it's still too early to tell, but I am really enjoying it. We got another bad lead here. So these battles, of course, mostly taking place between rank 3 to rank 6. But I decided to include some of the more interesting and difficult battles here. I did go 14-1 with this team, so majority of the battles were wins. But in this particular match, you see Altaria here, it's a pretty difficult lead. Don't really have any great answer for it in the back. Vigoroth kind of has to do a lot of work here, and then Altaria in the mirror match. So I swap out now into my Altaria, and unfortunately the opponent doesn't throw. I was trying to catch the Sky Attack there, so potential for a Dragon Pulse, but I decided to call the bait here, and they do in fact go for the Sky Attack. We see Azumarill come in, so the opponent wanted to farm a bit of energy, but ended up throwing the energy at the Altaria anyways. So I think the opponent could have just probably swapped into the Azumarill immediately, save that energy on their Altaria, and put themselves in a much better position here. But now we don't really have a great answer for Azumarill, so I'm going to come in with Vigoroth here because it has a bit of an energy lead, and look to just spam Body Slams here. And I'm hoping that once I get rid of this Azumarill, that the Pidgeot will be able to take care of whatever is left in the back. I'm assuming they don't have a steel type, something like Stunfisk or Bastiodon, because they probably would have brought that into the Altaria. So they bring back in the Altaria here. It should be Dry Energy. I'm going to throw the Body Slam here to just get rid of it. And they come in with Bellossom. Now, because they switch locked themselves into this matchup, they gave up switch. I'm going to come in with the Pidgeot here, knowing that they're stuck in this match. Pidgeot basically walls Bellossom here, but they're running Dazzling Gleam, which actually does quite a bit of damage. So I got a little bit scared here. Wasn't sure if they'd outpace me to the next Dazzling Gleam. So I'm just throwing the Feather Dance here to be safe. And at this point, I kind of need to get to another Feather Dance here. And fortunately, we are able to do that. So even if they shield this up, we'll be able to take them out now with the Vigoroth. They decide to let it go instead. So they go down with the shield. It didn't really make a difference that matchup. The game was basically over. Let's hop into the next battle. We got DD Santista. And we got Vigoroth into a Medicham. So another very difficult lead here, as you could see. We're going to swap out into the Pidgeot here. And the opponent swaps onto Bastiodon. So this is what we're talking about here. Horrible matchup. And I guess in theory, going for Feather Dance makes more sense because it could freeze the opponent. But I actually had no idea that this was even a glitch in the game. And even if it was, it's not something I want to exploit. So I just go for the Brave Bird there, trying to get off as much damage as possible, while lowering my own defense so that I get farmed down faster by these Smackdowns. Now I decide to no shield this Bastiodon right here. And I'm probably going to shield once and look to commit to the farm down because I want to have 2 Body Slams ready for when that Medicham comes back in. I'm really hoping the Bastiodon doesn't swap out, rather I should say. And Medicham comes in. So I'm going to look to throw back-to-back Body Slams here. And then once I do that, I'm hoping to get at least 1 shield. I will swap out into my Altaria. And best case scenario, this Medicham is not running Ice Punch, but realistically, probably is. Here comes Altaria here. So I think the first one, maybe not worth shielding in case they go for the pup, but no, I am going to shield it up. So I do shield up the first one. It ends up being an Ice Punch, so that's pretty fortunate. I think you can make the case to no shield there, but at the same time, it also depends on what they have in the back. They do shield up, so I know they're going for another Ice Punch here. Ice Punch isn't going to knock us out, but it's going to leave us in the yellow, so not a great position to be in. And they swap out into Alolan Marowak, so this is actually really good for us, except for the fact that we're already very low in health. So what I'm hoping I could do here is actually stall the switch timer and bring in Vigoroth to catch this move. No, we couldn't click on it, unfortunately. So Altaria should go down here, but they go for Bone Club. I come in with Vigoroth, and now they're going to throw another move here. This allows me to be able to come back in with the Pidgeot and farm down completely, which should actually get me to the Sky Attack, which is going to be enough to take out the Medicham. We come back from a hard counter lead, a hard counter safe switch, and we win that game. So pretty impressed with that win right there. And I am really enjoying Pidgeot. Jumping up to rank 5 now, we got Tony 500p, and we got Vigoroth into Snorlax. A beautiful lead, of course. And the opponent's going to swap out into a Hypno. So I'm actually going to decide to throw some chip damage here at the Hypno before swapping out. And between Pidgeot and Altaria, I decide to come in for Altaria, mostly because Hypnos are more likely to be running Thunder Punch than they are Ice Punch. And for that reason, I think Altaria has a much better matchup here. And also because we got that Body Slam off, this Hypno cannot win even if they decide to go into 2 shields. So that's why I threw the Body Slam there. Thunder Punch comes through. And unless they are going for the Thunder Punch bait to make me no shield with the Ice Punch the second time, which is actually a super 5-head play, we're going to be okay there. Thankfully, that was not what they were doing. They come back in with the Snorlax here. Going to go for the Sky Attack. Wasn't sure if I'd get to the Dragon Pulse there. Probably could have, but it doesn't really matter. Sky Attack's still chunking away. And here, I actually come in with Vigoroth, but I think this is a mistake. I probably should come in with the Pidgeot here because they're going to go for the superpower guaranteed. We could definitely still survive it with Vigoroth, but I should have known it was going to be a superpower. And they have a Muck in the back. So here comes the Pidgeot now. And I'll probably shield up this first move knowing it is going to be a Thunder Punch. And then look to get off this Feather Dance here to lower the attack, which should allow me to survive the next Feather Dance and put me in a great position to win this match. We get the shield there as well, which is very good. And I don't think we'll be able to farm down here, so I'm probably going to shield the Thunder Punch, over farm maybe by 1 Gust, and then throw the Feather Dance. So I'm not even going to attempt the over farm. I'm just going to throw the Feather Dance immediately here. Get rid of this Muck, get in 1 extra Gust here, which is really nice. And now the Snorlax comes back in. Can't lick us down, of course. That is being double resisted here by the normal type. And we're going to throw this Feather Dance, which will be enough to take out the Snorlax. We take that game, and a very strong start there with Pidgeot and Altaria. So jumping into the second set here, this is where things start to get a little crazy. You can see we switched up the team here, a bit more Azumarill coverage in the back with the Jumpluff here. I think Tropius is the ideal choice, but this is a substitute pick for Tropius. So going to come in here with the Vigoroth into a Serperior, and I'm going to throw the Body Slam here. Probably look to catch the Frenzy Plant onto my Pidgeot, but unfortunately mistimed. So opponent swaps out into Azumarill here, and this actually isn't the worst matchup for Pidgeot, especially with an energy lead. So I'm going to go for the Feather Dance right here, look to lower the attack so we could survive some Ice Beams. And notice right here, the opponent stops attacking. So this is where the glitch starts to happen. And I didn't know this was a thing in the game, so I stopped attacking here, realizing that maybe their game crashed or something. You know, I want to give them kind of an opportunity to at least come back in here. So I decided to throw the Feather Dance at this point, thinking maybe if I throw the move, they'll, like, maybe it's a glitch and like they'll start attacking again. I don't know. But you could clearly see here, the game is not working, and Feather Dance comes through. And once we throw that move, the opponent actually does get off a move here, but they don't hit any bubbles, it looks like, or there's just a lot of lag, or they left the game. But there's no damage there basically from the Ice Beam, which clearly says that something is happening. And at this point I decided they probably left the game. I'm just going to farm down here. And if they come back, they come back. But the game is basically over at this point. Altaria comes in, and the opponent is just going to leave the match. They're very unfortunate to see something that happen. And thankfully Niantic did remove Pidgeot until they get that fixed, because that is definitely a game-breaking glitch. As we move into the next battle, here we got Vigoroth into a Skarmory. So this is a pretty... It's not the worst matchup, but we basically need to go 2 shields if we want to win with Vigoroth. And the risky thing here is if we decide to take this to the 0 shields and kind of just lose switch, we have to hope that they don't have something in the back where we need Vigoroth. So a Steel type, you know, a Rock type. Jumpluff is okay against that, but it's still going to lose. Especially if there's a Bastiodon in the back, there's nothing we can do. So it's a very risky play deciding to take this to the 0 shields, but that's what we're going to do here. I'm hoping I could come in with Pidgeot now and actually farm down with Gust before they get to another move here. You can see it's going to be very close, but we are able to do it, which is perfect for us. We have a lot of energy here, just hoping not to see the Rock Steel type. It's a Politoed, so loving to see this. We could technically go for the Brave Bird here and then swap on to Jumpluff, but I decided to go for the Feather Dance bait. They call it, which is really nice on the opponent's part. And you can see in this situation, they actually did not get the glitch. So we're going for another Feather Dance here. The opponent did a great swap here to catch down to the Azumarill. But fortunately for us, this is where having Jumpluff is a lot better than Altaria. You could see the Azumarill in the back would be a pretty big problem for us. But thankfully with Jumpluff here, I actually went for the bait and the opponent did not call it, which is pretty crazy. At this point, I assume they were saving their shields for the Politoed, but then since they called the bait, they felt like shielding there, and we did get one from the Air Lace. I'm going to let this go through here because they actually did build up past the Ice Beam, so there's a possibility that they did not actually have it, because it would make sense to throw it at 5 if they had it. They could also throw it after, but we should be able to survive with the Feather Dance debuff there, and the opponent comes back with Politoed. They don't want the Jumpluff smoke, so they jump on out of there. Let's hop in to the next battle here. We got Timmy 1, and we are leading Vigoroth once again into Nidoqueen. So here is the first Shadow Nidoqueen, definitely a very meta pick at this point in the season. And I'm going to go for the Body Slam here and probably take one move here if they throw before Earth Power, which it seems like they are doing. I don't think this is enough for an Earth Power, so I'm going to let this go through. Poison Fang going to lower my defense, so I swap out into Pidgeot here. And Pidgeot doesn't have a great match against Nidoqueen, but not the worst either. I know it's going to be a Poison Fang, so I decided to let that go through. And you can see Gust is adding up, so I'm going to throw the Feather Dance here. Because we got that Body Slam counter damage off at the start, not a horrible position to be in here. So I'll probably shield once. The Gust did go through this, so just shield this. The Nidoqueen will go down. We're going to be very low in terms of our defensive stat, but that's okay here. Let's see what the opponent chooses to come in with. Should have a Feather Dance ready. Maybe be able to build up to the Brave Bird here. Not going to risk it, just going to go straight for the Feather Dance here because I assume since they can't farm down, they're probably going to throw the Foul Play. Now by throwing Feather Dance there, of course, it does mean they can farm more, but look at how much damage Gust is doing right here. This is literally a very strong move here. And at this point, I'm going to come in with Jumpluff. They swap out into Swampert. I actually came with Vigoroth, actually, sorry. They swapped out to Swampert. I come in with the Jumpluff here. And I figured this could be a Sludge Wave, so I decided to chill the first one. We do get baited. And I go for the Air Lace here without actually building up for the Energy Ball, which is a little bit of a problem. But Air Lace is still going to pressure these shields here because Bullet Seed is really chunking away. At this point, it's definitely going to be a Sludge Wave, but we are able to survive this. And I overfarm slightly, going for the Air Lace. This should be just enough to take out the Swampert here, which it does. Sableye comes back in, able to get to that Air Lace, which is actually pretty clutch for us because Vigoroth wouldn't have a great matchup here, and we are able to take that game. So let's hop into the next battle here, and this is the final battle of the set, and this is another matchup in which Pidgeot had a little bit of its Feather Dance shenanigans. So we see a Bastiodon lead here. Of course, very positive lead for us. And at least in these matches where we're getting this glitch, they're pretty solid for us. You can see right here, Pidgeot comes in and we're going to land this Feather Dance right here. This is going to lower the attack. I actually think Pidgeot could win this going straight Gust after the Feather Dance debuff because it looks like we outpaced here. But you can see the opponent froze, stopped attacking. And at this point, I know what's going on. So I just take them out. And basically, I'm throwing here, which is going to reset their debuff. So I could have just farmed this thing down with Gust if I wanted to, but I didn't want to do that. So I threw the Feather Dance, and I'm just going to go for another Feather Dance here. I'm not trying to just win this game by going straight Gust, so I reset their debuff. This gives the opponent obviously a great opportunity to come back in this matchup. And Vigoroth comes out. So here comes Medicham. We're going to come in with Jumpluff here. And you can see this kind of a hard counter line. I mean, Medicham does decently well against Jumpluff, but thankfully we do have two shields. We call the Power Up Punch bait there, which is really nice. And I'm going to go for the Air Lace here. Air Lace is a very, very bad move. Although it is super effective, it's really not doing too much to Medicham here. Still doing more than Energy Ball on Jumpluff because Energy Ball isn't so great on Jumpluff here. So I believe Air Lace is still the more efficient move, whereas, you know, with Serperior, Frenzy Plant actually does more damage than Air Lace, despite Air Lace being super effective. Not the case here with Jumpluff. Opponent swaps out, very great swap by the opponent there. So I'm forced to burn my shield. I'm going to come into Vigoroth here after building up a bit of energy, and I'm going to look to throw the Bulldoze after over farming a bit. I want to get off a Body Slam here, so I'm going to let this come through. Over farm until I have a Bulldoze and a Body Slam ready to go. So I believe I'm at that right now. Throw the Bulldoze here. This will be enough to take out the Bastiodon. And then I have the Body Slam ready. Potential to get farmed down here by the Medicham, of course. But I believe we should be able to get to two Air Laces here before it gets to an Ice Punch. But we are able to get to this second Air Lace, thankfully. And to be honest, they might not even have Ice Punch, so a pretty good situation for us to be in here. Looks like they're running Pup and Psychic, so we end up taking that game. We go 14-1 overall with the team. So those were the battles featuring Pidgeot pre-ban with two double flyer teams. Vigoroth in the lead. I really do like this double flyer strategy, and I think that it works pretty well right now given the state of the current meta. A lot of people are afraid to be running the charm users, so there isn't a lot of Ninetales. Vigoroth is very solid in the lead, and if you could bait out the steel type, you're in pretty good position after for the second flying type. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.